Wow, I'm actually doing a different type of video on my channel. I hope you guys don't think the world is ending or anything like that, but I did say long ago I want to diversify my content and start doing other types of videos, mainly Marvel, Star Wars, Hot Wheels, stuff like that, where I do have a little bit of expertise, obviously not as much compared to Disney cars, but here's one thing that I feel really passionate about and I want to do a movie review for, and that is, of course, Marvel's Eternals. It just came out like a week or so ago, and I absolutely loved the movie. It's super complex. There's a lot of things to it, and a lot of those things I feel like have gone over people's heads because a lot of people are just bashing the movie ridiculously. And I feel bad for it, and I have to give it some love. And yeah, I just loved it. Not only do I want you guys to love it, but I just want to talk about it because I'm passionate about it. So yeah, this is my first ever movie review here on the Disney Docket channel. I hope to do more. I probably should review almost all the Marvel movies because I've seen them all more than once and I pretty much love them all. Now, I don't love them all equally, but I'm a huge Marvel fan, and so even though I might not know much about the comics, MCU stuff, I feel like I am pretty well versed in. So we're going to get right into it. Now, I had a lot of hype for this movie leading up to it. I don't really know why. It's no different, I guess, than some of the other Marvel movies in the sense of anticipation. It's not like an Endgame or No Way Home level event, but seeing their costumes initially in that one event where they revealed all the actors for all 10 Eternals, and then we got that first trailer, and it just seemed so different. It seemed something new and refreshing, and so my anticipation for it was far higher than Black Widow, far higher than Shang-Chi, and I feel like No Way Home, it's hard to compare to, but it's having equal levels of anticipation to No Way Home, which is continuing to build, so it's hard to say. Obviously, Spider-Man No Way Home is going to be a crazy movie that has Avengers Endgame level hype, but Eternals I was super excited for. I really wanted to like the main character, Ikaris, and that's kind of where a lot of this video will focus in because he is, in my eyes, the main character of the movie, even though they bill it as Sersi, Gemma Chan's Sersi as the main character, but he really probably has the most screen time if we were to quantify it. And so I just want to start by saying all the settings are absolutely gorgeous. And by the way, this will have spoilers in the review. I can't talk about this movie and do it justice without talking spoilers. So yeah, beware of that. Anyways, gorgeous settings. Like I said, there are so many different places that this movie travels to. You have ancient Babylon, you have the Aztec region, you have Iran, the Great Wall of China, all sorts of different places, and they absolutely nail it. It just looks beautiful, and again, refreshing to see all these different areas represented in a Marvel movie. So I was really impressed with that, and they had some excellent music choice to accompany all these scenes. I thought the music in the ending battle at the volcano was incredible. I thought one scene in particular where Ikaris is trapped by Phastos and he realizes he can't shoot his laser eyes entirely anymore. First of all, great acting by Richard Madden, but also the music in that scene is really powerful. Now, moving on to Ikaris, I thought he was the most human character of the entire movie, yet no one really sees it. No one, and it's understandable. No one can relate to him because his motives are so cosmic. They are so out of our realm of perspective. But if you really think hard about it, what he is doing is a very human thing. He is just simply being loyal to his purpose, to what he perceives his purpose to be. He is just trying to follow what he has done his entire life, and he feels that if he doesn't do that, his entire life has just been a joke. It's been meaningless and without really any sense of gravity or sustenance. So I totally understand why he ends up defending Ereshkigal and basically continuing the Celestials' mission of destroying worlds in favor of creating more worlds. So basically, you sacrifice one for multiple in return. That's basically what they're doing here, and it's totally understandable. But obviously humans, we're humans, so we're biased. So like, we want, the Celestials to fail. We want Sersi and the other Eternals to destroy Tiamat, who is the Eternal that is emerging from the earth and that would destroy it upon complete emergence. We want them to win because we are humans. But like, we have no sympathy, and we really have a lack of empathy for other alien races out there. And obviously, again, in this world like that we live in, we don't know of any other alien races out there. But in the Marvel universe, there are hundreds of them, right? And everyone knows about them after all the events of the Avengers movies. And so you have to think like, billions, trillions more lives could, flourish if this, one planet is sacrificed. And obviously we don't want that because we're Earthlings, but it's something to think about. And more so, what humanizes Ikaris is that he's just being loyal. And the most human part about it all is that he basically gave up on his relationship with Sersi because he couldn't bear the burden of knowing the truth anymore. Ajax bestowed the truth upon him that eventually this world will be destroyed, our memories will be wiped, and we'll go to a new one and do the exact same thing. And we've been doing this for thousands and thousands of years. And so he finally knows this. I don't know why Ajax decides to tell him the truth now. Like, I don't know, maybe she told it to him in the past and his memory was just wiped. Like, maybe she told it to him on another planet and their memories just were wiped, and he just, everything went as it was supposed to be and their memories were wiped. But so this one obviously has different consequences because of the fact that Ajax dies, right? And she selects Sersi to be her successor. And she also has a change of heart. As we saw in the movie, she doesn't want, she wants to delay the emergence. She has fallen in love for whatever reason with Earth more than the previous planets that they were on. Like, I mean, again, we have to assume they have done this before on other planets. They have facilitated previous emergences, and for whatever reason, she's fallen in love with Earth, and that is why she wants to delay the emergence. But when Ikaris hears this, I mean, he just feels betrayed, right? He broke up with Sersi for no reason then. Like, he broke up with her because he couldn't, stand lying to her every day, or basically withholding the truth from her every day that this planet will be destroyed and we will have our memories wiped and go on to a future world. He couldn't bear that. He broke up with her, right? And then he basically hurts her in like the worst way possible. I mean, for thousands of years. Who knows what he does afterwards? He probably, he said that he's been in love with her the entire time, so he's probably been pretty lonely. But after Ajax tells him this, he could have then told Sersi this, and he could have lived an entirely different life. He wouldn't have had to basically break up with her. He broke up with her for no reason whatsoever, knowing now that his mission is being basically jeopardized by the leader Ajax. And so that's why he feels the need to have to kill her to continue his mission, in order for him to basically have closure, to feel complete, to feel like his life has had meaning instead of just being this aimless path that results in, I don't know, him just losing everything, right? He loses out on Sersi, and he loses out on his fulfillment. Like, that's how I perceive it, because then he'll just go to a new planet and have the memories wiped. Like, I don't know how to really put it in the words. You have to really have a deep understanding of the movie to understand what I'm trying to say right now. And I just feel like Ikaris is such a great character, and a lot of people are just not realizing that because it is kind of hard to relate to. It's something that you don't think about every day, and it's even harder for us because we don't know what else is out there in the universe, right? Now, there was one critique I have of him, and that is his previous life. Like, what did he do all this time after he broke up with Sersi? Like, I wish they developed his character a little bit more in that sense. And if you guys know of the Netflix series Bodyguard, they really should just canonize that as a Marvel show and say like, oh yeah, this is what Ikaris has been doing, at least in the last, 30, 40 years. He's been a bodyguard. I think that's a phenomenal Netflix series, by the way. I highly recommend it. Obviously, it's not practical to make that, a canonized Marvel show or anything like that. But I do wish they gave him a little bit more development. And I really want to know, like, what he did to make money, right? I kind of want to know what some of these other ones did as well. But, with Fastos, it's pretty clear he lives a normal life nowadays. And obviously, Gemma Chan, Sersi, we know she works and, lives a normal life in London, right? But Ikaris, we have no idea what he did. Okay, so I want to know. And then the other thing I want to say about him is that it's just so unrealistic that he was able to fly to the sun that quickly. I just want to put that out there. Like, no one's really questioning that. The things that people are questioning, I'm like, come on, like, seriously, you're going to nitpick that? But like this, unless that like scene of him was just sped up over like hundreds of years or whatever. I mean, he like clearly is not, I don't know if he just doesn't fly to his max speed, but like, I mean, to be able to fly to the sun that quickly is ridiculous. I mean, the sun is very, very far away from Earth, right? And they make it seem like he flies there in an instant, making it seem like he basically has the speed of Makari, which we know he doesn't, right? I mean, it would basically just nerf Makari's character if Ikaris also has that speed. It would make him too OP. So unless like it just takes him forever to fly to the sun, but it makes it seem like it is pretty instantaneous because Sersi knows that he's gone, right? Like, I'm pretty sure we can all admit that Ikaris does die by going into the sun. I know that they could reconstruct him at the Great Forge. I mean, they could reconstruct any of the Eternals because they're basically like synthetic beings. I mean, they are, right? They're basically like Vision, but a little bit more human. And so, yeah, I don't really understand that. I feel like they were just trying so hard to make it like the, Greek mythology. Like they were trying to mirror it so much. I mean, Ikaris as in Icarus, as in the guy who flew too close to the sun, got his wings singed, and then fell into the ocean and drowned. I mean, I don't know why they would care so much to parallel that, but it seems like they almost wanted that too badly, so they kind of stretched the truth on that. I mean, it's just so unrealistic for him to fly to the sun that quickly. All right, that's enough for Ikaris. I do want to go and move on to the following main character, Sersi here. Thought she was really good. I just wanted some more emotion from her. I think she was a little too stoic in the movie, which is, again, another complaint from a lot of critics. Like, it was very empty. I kind of can get that with her because she doesn't express much emotion in key moments. I wanted her to feel betrayed by Ikaris, but she really doesn't seem to care all that much. I wanted her to feel very upset that Ikaris has basically betrayed her. I mean, that's what he did, right? I mean, obviously, like I said, I understand why he did that, but from Sersi's perspective, I wish she was a little bit more ticked off that he left her. I wish she was a little bit more ticked off that she has to fight him at the end. Obviously, he does come around, but I wanted to see some more emotion from her, especially with Ikaris and her relationship with him, because you can tell in that one scene, outside the Domo, in Iran, she like grabs his hand and they have like a little moment again, as if she like almost has feelings for him still, even though this is present day when she's with Dane Whitman. So I wish she felt then more anger when he kind of turns on them all and goes off the rails there for a little bit. Understandably, justifiably so though. Moving on now to the action of the entire movie. I thought it was incredible. Like, there isn't, I feel like, all that much action in this movie, but the action scenes that they did do were out of this world, especially the final one on the beach there. Ikaris, Makari, Fastos. I mean, Ikaris and Makari, that fight was probably top 10, top 5 overall, maybe in terms of the entire MCU. I thought that was incredible. And then, Fastos, I wasn't expecting him to be much of like a fighter, but, he was able to construct the trap for Ikaris, and he did a lot of cool things there in that last fight. And I thought just the way they filmed it, it was super smooth, easy to follow. Really, really enjoyed that. And I thought the forest fight scene was really good as well. And one thing I thought was just weird about the movie is that Kingo just bails on like the last scene there. Like, he just bails on the final fight. And yet Eros still like summons him up into space and teleports them through the black hole. Yet he basically sided with Ikaris and just chose not to, do anything, right? I don't know how I feel about that. Like, it makes sense. Like, they're trying to be fair to his character. He's always followed Ikaris, so he's not going to fight him, but he also doesn't want to, fight his own family. So it makes sense, but it just felt a little weird that one of the main characters, your main fighter behind Ikaris, just bails. I mean, Gilgamesh is dead, so the next up, pretty much Kingo, and he's got some really cool features. His powers are really neat, basically like gun hands. But I feel like he was a little underutilized, and he could have provided a little spark to the action at the end there that really would have put it over the edge. Now, the Deviants, I thought, seemed a little bit unnecessary. I thought they were a little odd inclusion to the movie. Their build is like the main, villains of the movie, but I knew going in like they wouldn't be. Like, I just kind of know. Like, you can kind of feel like faceless monsters are not going to be the main villain of an MCU movie. Like, we all know that, right? So I understand that they're in there for a little bit, but the whole thing with Crow and him becoming sentient really just seemed unnecessary to me. There was one point in the movie where I thought they would team up with the Eternals, though, because they both were betrayed by Ereshkigal, right? Like, I mean, Ereshkigal created both of them for the same purpose, but then because the Deviants evolved, he created the Eternals to fight the Deviants, right? I mean, unless I'm misinterpreting, they basically had the same enemy at the end there, which are the Celestials. They both basically created these two beings, the Deviants and the Eternals, for the same purpose and lied to them, right? So a little confused why they didn't team up, like a little confused why Crow ends up helping Ikaris. I don't really get that part, but I don't know. It was a cool fight between him and Athena. I thought that was interesting. They have like a romantic relationship in the comics, I think, which was weird. I'm glad they didn't even touch that at all. But I thought there was going to be a team up, and I feel like they could have gone that route and maybe made their appearance in the movie a little bit more justified. But I thought the Deviants was the weakest part of the movie. As we close out here, I do want to talk about a couple big characters that are introduced in this movie but really have minuscule parts, and that jumps out to you guys probably as the Black Knight. Dane Whitman's character, I was thrilled when I heard that he was going to be playing, or Kit Harington was going to be playing Dane Whitman in this movie. Like, I have heard of the Black Knight character in the past, and I'm so happy that they're finally doing him in the MCU. And I wasn't really anticipating him to be in this movie all that much. Like, it makes sense. They got to develop him. He can't just come right out as the Black Knight, even though that would be awesome. So, the end credit scene where Blade, Mahershala Ali's Blade, comes in, who first time he's ever been in an MCU movie. It's just his voice, but it is him. And, he obviously is getting his own movie in a couple years now. It's first time ever that he says or does anything in a movie. And he basically says, like, are you sure you're ready for that, Dane Whitman? And now I'm going to be completely honest. Like, I go into these movies not knowing anything because I don't want to be spoiled. So I thought that was actually the Watcher. Like, I don't know why I feel like I shouldn't have thought that, but the voices just sounded similar to me. It sounded like Jeffrey Wright, and it totally is something that Jeffrey Wright would say. Like, I feel like in the What If series, he interjects sometimes like that, although he's not supposed to intervene. It almost seems like he did here. But obviously, we all found out it's not the Watcher, but I totally thought it was. I feel like I need somebody to say, oh yeah, I could totally understand how you thought that, to justify that for me, because I thought it was him. Obviously, though, it was not. It was a cool scene, though. I really wanted him to touch it, but we'll have to wait until the Blade movie. Blade's also rumored to be in Moon Knight, so there's going to be some sort of cultivation of these characters very soon, and I'm looking forward to it. And then the next character is Eros, aka Star Fox. So I thought this was cool. Like, I thought this was a very cool post-credit scene. I liked the music. It was kind of like a alternate version of the Eternals theme that has a little bit more like acoustic vibe to it. I liked that. And Harry Styles is definitely an interesting choice, but I honestly think it will work out perfectly. He did a great job in Dunkirk, which is a war movie that came out a long time ago. I watched it one time, when it came out, and I liked it. It was not the best movie in the world. I thought it was a little bland, but from what I remember, Harry Styles did a good job, which is just, you know, at that time it was very, very just like mind-boggling because he had been just a singer this whole time. But, you know, wow. How can one person be so talented to be able to sing and act? So anyways, I think, you know, from what I know about Star Fox, you know, and his powers and manipulating emotions and whatnot, I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of it. You guys can look it up. It gets a little weird, but I think he'll do a great job, and I'm looking forward to seeing his character. I hope it becomes a little bit more complex and not just like the, you know, kind of cockiness that he's displaying right now. Like, he's kind of seems arrogant, right? He's got his little minion there, Pip the Troll, who is just kind of blowing smoke up his butt the entire time, right? You know, and really hope that they add some complexity to his character, especially, you know, being Thanos' brother and everything. So there's a lot of potential there, and I hope that they can confirm an Eternals 2 within the next couple years. I hope it comes out within 4 years. Like, if it comes out after 4 years, I'm going to be upset because they really leave on a cliffhanger. I feel like out of all the Marvel movies, this one leaves off on one of the largest cliffhangers ever. Maybe like Thor: The Dark World with Loki on the throne of Asgard is another one, but this one, I mean, 3 of the Eternals just get teleported into space. That's pretty big too. I feel like this is definitely a very large cliffhanger. I mean, Infinity War is as well, but you only thought Infinity was a cliffhanger because you know there's another movie coming out the next year, because that movie totally could have just ended right there, right? I mean, Thanos did his job, right? And the movie's all about Thanos doing what he wanted to do, right? And it ends doing what he wanted to do. So honestly, Infinity War is not much of a cliffhanger, and the movie, you know, we all knew it was going to come out a year later. Endgame was going to come out the following year. So anyway, yeah, cliffhanger at the end of Eternals. I hope there's the sequel within like 2 years. I don't expect them to release at the rate of like the Spider-Man movies, but hopefully a little bit quicker than like the Doctor Strange trilogy has been going. I mean, it's literally been 6 years. It's going to be like just under 6 years, like 5.5 years between Doctor Strange movies, which is a lot, right? And then you have that going with Guardians of the Galaxy now between the second and the third. So hopefully it's not that long, but we will see. It didn't get the best of reviews, but I know Mattel. Oh my God, I just said Mattel. I just combined Marvel and Mattel. I say Mattel so many times in my Cars reviews, but anyways, Marvel won't scare away from that because they're very convicted. They have deep pockets, and some bad Rotten Tomatoes reviews are not going to faze them much, or at least I hope not. So yeah, guys, that is all for my Eternals review. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below, and let me know if you want to see me do more Eternals videos like this or more Marvel videos in general. I mean, I'm a huge fan, so I would be so thrilled if you guys wanted to see me do more videos, and I probably will. I just need to build up an audience that wants to see that, because right now a lot of my subscribers are not Marvel people. So once I get there, hopefully I'm able to, you know, make more videos that people want to see, right? So anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.